Okay, so thank you for being here. We are going to start. I'm going to start presenting my screen. And I hope you see my little, face in one of the sides of your screen. Let us know. We ask you to mute your mics, but if there is an issue or you don't hear me or you don't see the presentation, let me know. You can put it in the chat, or you can just unmute the mic and let us know. Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Teresa Ferrer, and I'm the MYP coordinator for St. Peter's, and I also teach mathematics in the diploma level. So this presentation is about the middle years. Middle years in the diploma program goes from year 6 to year 10. In the national system is class 6 to our 4th of ESO. And to give you an idea what the IB curriculum is this is the overview. This is the continuum of the curriculum. So there is a program for primary years, there is a program for middle years, and then there is a program for our bachillerato years, which is called diploma program. We already are teaching the diploma program at the school since maybe, I would say, 2 years ago. So we already had our first cohort of students graduating this year. And they had so many issues with the COVID and the lockdown, etc. But we made it. They are graduated. They are our first graduating year. And then it is working so well, and we like a lot the methodology and the system, that we are extending the IB down to the middle years and then down to the primary years. So in order for a school to become IB, an IB school, we need to go through an accreditation, and that's what's happening now in the middle years and the primary years. We were working with the institution during all last year and next year as well, so we'll be accredited by mid next year, we think. What we like about this program is that it's international and it fits well with our student population. It's not so different from what we had been doing at St. Peter's, so we like the flexibility that offers. And what we think it will help us the most is with methodology. I'll explain the methodology in a minute. And being able to have a continuum, to have a standard across all the years, all the programs that they offer. There is also a good organization of the contents. I'll show you as well. And it gives us a program for our students, because your kids are in the middle years. They probably will, maybe not in year 6, year 7, but if they are already in year 10 or year 9, they might be thinking about the diploma program, they might be thinking about going to the university. So it's an international accepted program for UK universities, as well as Europe, the States, and then here in Spain is also accepted in private and public universities, no problem. So the idea is that it's not something super different from what we had been doing already at St. Peter's, but it gives us a good framework and a good reshape of the methodology. Okay, so we are going to speak today about the methodology in the MYP, the contents that we will be offering, and then the assessment at the end. Ms. Royshin, she will come to the room when she needs to present, and I'll introduce her to you. Maybe some of you already know her, and she will give you an insight on the assessment for the MYP. So the methodology is about inquiry-based methodology. And this is the cycle, the teaching and learning cycle in the IB. The idea is that we let the students ask questions, try things, make mistakes, and learn from them. So inquiring and then doing something to prove my question. For example, if I'm in science, so maybe go to the lab and test an experiment that I am designing with the help of the teacher, within a group, or by myself, deciding the variables, deciding the time I wanna, or how many times do I wanna test per week, and testing, taking action. on your questions, and then reflecting. Am I doing this right? Is this what I thought that it was happening? Maybe I can change some of the variables. Maybe I should test something else, or there was something that was impacting I didn't realize before. So it's an inquiry cycle, but like it's deep. I call it deep inquiry. It's not. Sometimes when we speak about inquiry, we think it's like, okay, it's a project, is within in a group, and we'll split the tasks, and that's it, and then we'll get a grade at the end. That's not what it means, inquiry within the IB program. It means deep thinking about what am I doing, why am I doing what am I doing, what I can change, and it will be applied. All the subjects, I'll show you all of them. They will go through this cycle in class. So I was telling you about science. If we have a mathematics class and we are analyzing some data with the students, it's pretty easy from the part of the teacher to show them, okay, so these points, this data, they adjust very well to an exponential functions. Or don't you see it's a logarithm? So the idea is for us teachers reframe a little bit from this, and we had been doing, but it's more clear in this type of curriculum. So it's like stand back a little bit and let them play with it. So I see the data, I see all the functions that I can try to adjust, make predictions, and get to the conclusions, and it's richer. It offers like a richer relationship with the content, I would say. So that's pretty much two examples that you will have you will see your students, your kids going through next year. As I was saying, it's a little change of methodology as we were doing. I think in primary years, the school does it a lot, but my feeling is that we lose this type of engagement with the content and emotion in front of different challenges and tasks. And this is something that we want to revamp. We want to get our students again excited about challenging them mentally, and then letting them explore on questions. So with the objectives of letting them take risks, letting them explore how do they learn the best, how do we reflect over our mistakes, and how I develop my personal identity through all these tasks that I had been doing. And just a little point, a reminder that it's pretty international, so it's accepted everywhere, as I said. And we thought our student population is pretty international, and we have a lot of mobility. So that's another key factor that we thought it was interesting for our school. A school here going through the IB curriculum should be the same as a school in in the US or in New Zealand. So they will be assessed in the same way. They will have pretty much the same subjects within each of the groups of subjects. So it will help our students if they have to move in the middle of the middle years. This is just a summary of the program, is the model of the program, and you will see these drawings if you go online and you research a little bit about the IB. All these graphs or all these visuals are the ones that are in the IB webpage, and it's a way of summarizing everything that's in this program. So at the center, as you see, is the student, and then as we move up outside of the circle, you will see that there is a community project. I explain in a minute. There is all the subjects that they will have to take as well, and the international open mind that we want them to achieve at the end. So, as I was saying, the skills that we want them to achieve is learn how to learn, understand multiculturalism, and then be creative, be critical, have an open-minded, etc. This is the IB learner profile, and you will see it as well everywhere because it's common from primary years, middle years, diploma program. So those are the skills we want our students to, when they finish each of the sub programs within the IB, to reach. Be caring about the environment, about each other. Be good communicators. Be reflective, risk taker. So all these skills are the ones that they will be able to achieve going through the curriculum, going through the tasks, working with the students, themselves working with the teachers. So as I said at the beginning, this is just a little introduction about the IB program, because we could be speaking for hours, and a little bit of introduction to the methodology based mainly on inquiry, but deep inquiry, meaningful inquiry. After that, I would like to show you the content in the MYP. The IB is pretty flexible in the content that we can teach at the school. There are 8 subject groups, and there are a few core elements, so center elements. The 8 subject groups are the ones you have in here. There is language and literature, acquisition, social sciences, etc. So we have our Spanish language, the English language, then we have Catalan, and then we have global perspective. So within each of these groups, we have a few choices for the students to take. There is a new subject we are calling Exonomics. It's about economics, but with prediction to the future. What's Brexit? What's happening with Brexit? Is this going to be impacting our future? COVID. Let's think about it economically. Like, what are the impacts? Also, business management within this subject, startups, etc. Then we have another subject within the sciences and social sciences is mixed. That's called exponentials, which is tackling sciences or up-to-date current issues that are happening in sciences and technology from a social sciences point of view. How is this change impacting us as an individual? So you will see. I'll show you some of the units that we have planned for our students for next year, and you will see that some of them are, even though they belong to one of these groups, they are kind of cross-disciplinary. If we need a teacher that is teaching robotics to help in one of the other subjects in order to create this unit, that's already happening. So there is a lot of more expertise. If we need it, put it together. Those are the subjects. And then the core elements. In year 9, the students will have a community project that's completed in groups. And it goes about solving or researching about a social issue. This is more, we'll tell the students a little bit more in depth when we meet with them in September. This is just an overview, but for you to know that besides subjects, there are some cross-curricular projects that they need to do. There is another personal project in year 10, which is individual, it's not as a group. And it's about creating a little thesis, a little paper on something that they would like to research within mathematics, science, social sciences. That's up to them. They create a report, they create a product, and there is a little show to show what they have learned during the year. Also, we have the interdisciplinary teaching and learning units that they happen once per year. And is something similar that I was telling you about, different teachers creating a unit for the students to work together on different subject groups. This is more, today is just an overview, but for you to have an idea of all the things that we will be doing next year. So this page is very busy. So probably from this presentation, you don't see it from home now, but we'll send it to you, and the presentation is recorded as well. So you will be able to spend more time here, but I just want to show you that the students will have lots of choices. That's another important trait in the IB curriculum. We want them to know themselves and know what they like. Maybe we have a student that he or she is not super good at robotics or computing science, but wants to take a chance, wants to take, I don't know, maybe let's try it for a semester, let's try it for a year. And it's like a challenge. I challenge myself to try to do this. So we want these things to happen and for the students to be able to kind of like decide what they want to take in each of the subject groups. We have artificial intelligence, philosophy together with artificial intelligence from the social sciences point of view, computer science, all the sciences, chemistry, physics, biology, all the languages, Spanish, English, Catalan, French, etc. And the arts, music, photography, you can take a look when you have more time. So, for example, I don't know how many. I mean, where are your kids? But I have an example of one of a unit that's happening in each of the year groups. I will go quick through them because you will have this presentation. And this is the planning. This is a template that the teachers they need to create for each of the units, and that's something that's required by the IB in order for the school to be accredited as an IB school. It's very long. It has 10 pages. This is just a little summary at the first page that I'm just showing you for you to have an idea of what do we really mean by inquiry behind. So this is in year 6 and is about the development goals, the United Nations development goals, about climate change. And I just want to point out that there is always going to be a statement of inquiry for each of the units. So the students will go around trying to solve or trying to gain knowledge about this statement. For example, in this case, it's about global problems are a reality, but us as individuals, the government, the NGOs, we can do things. What can we do? How can we solve some of the problems? Is it possible? So it's a little bit, is about, they are going to be speaking about climate change, global warming, etc. Yes, but more deeper with other ramifications, with other branches around. So this was for year 6. In year 7, we are going to be doing algebra, yes, and mathematics for sure. But for example, this is a unit on algebra and simplification, algebraic expressions, etc. But then we can go a little bit deeper. They will be solving second-degree equations and simultaneous equations for sure. But also maybe we will be questioning, so is this a language? Mathematics is a language. Is a language that explains reality, or reality is explained because we use this language? So a little bit deeper in as the same time as we are solving our problems, our tasks. Exonomics. We are very excited with this subject because we've never had business, economics, business management in the middle years. We do offer at the diploma program, we offer economics and business management. This is why we thought, and it's quite popular, the kids really like it and really enjoy it. We thought that it was a good idea to just move it down in the middle years. And the IB gives you the framework and it lets you choose your content. So this is another one that they will be taking if your kid is in year 8. What's a startup? Is a normal type of company? What's the entrepreneurship feeling? What personality? What's not the spirit that says in here? How do we reach this? Is everybody can be an entrepreneur or not? Discussions around these contents. For year 10, I have an example here about the human genome and genetic manipulation. Probably, will they be learning about cells and the component of the cells and what's the DNA, what's the RNA? Oh, of course, they will, and they will know the names, etc. But we'll go a little bit more deeper on the idea of manipulation. Genetic manipulation is it okay if we manipulate aliments in order to feed more people? Probably. But then when we go into manipulating embryos, well, if it's to eradicate an illness, maybe yes. But if it's not, what's happened? Where is the limit? Law is implied in here. Who needs to decide? The doctors, the lawyers, me as a user. So all these kind of discussions can come around this this unit of inquiry for year 9. And in year 10, this is one example of within the subject of language and literature, English. And the students will be reading and will be analyzing roles and will be analyzing characters and writing essays, comparing text. Yes, but besides this, I think they've chosen to read The Shadow in the North, and they will speak about propaganda and influence. Is the government influencing us? When am I aware that this is happening? Critical thinking should be I should make my own decisions and I should take my own choices, but knowing that this happens, that's a reality. So just to give you an example, you can go over, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time explaining in detail each of them, but if you take a look, all of them, they have a statement of inquiry, they have a few questions, there are a few learning activities, etc. So as we were telling you at the beginning, the presentation is about an introduction to the IB and then a little bit of the methodology behind this inquiry cycle that I was showing you, and how we teachers will be relating with the students, and then our change on content a little bit for next year with these new subjects, this new way of planning for them. Now, Ms. Roisin, she's coming to the room now. She will give you a little bit of information about the assessment in the MYP. And just, yeah, you can come here. Yes. She's coming here, just making sure we have the space in between us to be safe.
Hello, everybody. We're just trying to make sure we keep that safety distance. I'm Roisin Barbato. Nice to meet you if I haven't, and lovely to see you. Although, to be quite honest, I can see a presentation. I can't see your faces right now, but it's nice to know you're there. Okay, before I continue with assessment, just to let you know that what I'm going to speak to you about now, assessment, is perhaps one of those major changes from what we're used to, okay? Up until now, we were used to grading from a scale of 10 or out of 100, and now that changes a little bit. So it takes a while to get your head around it, okay? Having said that, I would also want to let you know that this is the first meeting we're having about MYP as an introduction. Due to coronavirus, we weren't able to do our regular meetings. So we decided to do this meeting as a starting point, so you had an idea of what it's about. But hopefully in September, we'll be able to give you more meetings and more information about maybe meetings specifically about assessment or content, etc., etc. However, a lot of our students have already been working little by little, not in all subjects, but in most. They have already started working with the MYP methodology. And even in some subjects, I would even say that they have been working with the MYP assessment criteria. However, their grades this year will be as usual, okay? So one of the things we like about the MYP assessment is that the grades you get do not compare you to others. They don't put you on a rank list, okay? It's compared to yourself, so you can see where you are. It's not who you are as a learner, but in where you are in that journey. So the where is always temporary, so they can go from being at one level up to the other, okay? So we really like this concept. You will see in this page here that every group of subjects, for example, in language and literature, we would have different subjects here. We could have English and Spanish mainly, and each subject has 4 criteria. Okay, for example, criterion A is analyzing, organizing, producing text, and using language. And then each criterion has their level descriptions as well. Okay, so when we're teaching, you will also realize that the teaching units are much longer than the usual ones. So they could easily go to 5 or 6 weeks, which is something that perhaps in primary was already happening, but less so in the middle years. So the teachers have plenty of time, and students, to work towards achieving good levels in each criterion of each subject. They will also have rubrics. So while teachers are going through the unit, the students will be doing a number of formative activities, formative assessment, okay, whether it's formal or informal, but they will have lots. So with this information, both teachers and students can see where they're going, and teachers can see if they need to adapt their teaching, and students can see whether they can still push themselves a little bit more or not, or what areas. For example, in language and literature, if you're writing, you may be very good at organizing a text, but then the use of language may not be as good. Okay, so when you get your grades, when your children get their grades, you will see that you won't get just one grade for English, for instance. You will have a final grade, but before that you'll have a breakdown of what grade they got for each criterion. This allows us to see, for example, again in English, if they're very good, as I said, in organizing, but not so good in their use of language. So that allows us to have more precise information. Okay, so when we do assessment, one of the changes you will see this year is that we won't be assessing per terms, but per semesters. Okay, so you will have the grades sent home sometime mid-January and then June. However, we have decided for this year to send a small report in December, because we're quite used to that, and otherwise we also feel it's a very long time from September to mid-January without knowing much. So you will receive a predictive grade. Okay, so basically, for those of you who are already in MYP, it will be similar to the in the middle years in La ESO. You will receive the equivalent to what we do in the traffic light system. Okay, now we do this system where if they're green, they're doing okay. If they're yellow, we need to work a little bit harder, and if it's red, we're showing to have some difficulties, and we need to tackle those. So this will be similar, but obviously it will be with a number. Okay, always as a prediction, not as a final grade. Okay, how do we get the grade? As I said, it won't be based on a 0 to 10 or percentages. There are two numbers that you're going to three numbers you're going to remember. One is 8. Okay, so you will see here it says criterion A. So going back to the previous one, if we're assessing as teachers, we're assessing criterion A. These are the results we can get. So, for example, if a student does not reach a standard described by any of the other descriptions below, he would get a 0. On the other hand, if the student consistently uses a wide range of terminology effectively, you may decide to give him a 7 as a final grade. But if he also demonstrates excellent knowledge and understanding of content and concepts through accurate description, explanations, and examples, you could give him an 8. And there's a range. Okay, so each criterion will be assessed twice, okay, a year. So once in the first semester and another time in the second semester. Now, there are 4 criterions. There are 4 criterions for each subject. So let's say they get an 8 in the 4 and the 4 criterions, which we hope, that would be wonderful. If they get an 8 for the 4, that would make add up a total of 32. And if you see down here, these are the subject grade boundaries. if a student gets a total of between 28 and 32, their final grade would be a 7, okay? This is a conversion that is done automatically. We have the table to do, it's handed to us from the IB. So you will be going through 8s and 7s, okay? It's not a direct conversion, as you see, but this is pretty much what it is. As I said at the beginning, this is a little bit overwhelming. It's too many numbers, too much information, but little by little, students will be getting used to it, and so will you, and so will we. It took us a while too. So we trust that little by little we'll get there, okay? And don't forget that we will have plenty of meetings or emails to answer, giving you any information that you may need. So I think to get to the end and sum up, the advantages of the MYP would be this international profile, this inquiry-based approach. I would add more like a deep thinking, inquiry-based approach, and the assessment as an individual improvement, not compared to the rest. So that would be pretty much it in a nutshell. Thank you for coming. I know it wasn't the best time because a lot of you are starting to get lunch ready now. So thank you very much for coming. And we hope to see you in September. We really look forward to seeing your children, but you too. Okay, so thank you very much. And,
yeah, thank you.
And bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.